What's up, everybody? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button to the Hoops Tonight YouTube channel, and then follow me on social media on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter so you guys don't miss any of our content over the course of this season. All right, let's talk some basketball. Clippers-Knicks. Close game for the most part throughout until a big Knicks run in the fourth quarter that put it away. Dante DiVincenzo in particular sparked the run, had a big play at the point of attack where he got a steal and then a run-out layup over Russell Westbrook. Big play where he was in the left corner on a missed three on the right wing where he crashed the offensive glass, caught James Harden sleeping, got the offensive rebound, made a kickoff pass, sprinted all the way around to the right wing, and then knocked down a three. And then he made a tightly contested corner three over James Harden contest later on. RJ Barrett was also big in the run. Julius Randle kind of sort of started to get his rhythm back. It's been kind of a mixed bag from the Knicks so far this year on the offensive end of the floor, especially from the standpoint of their stars, which we'll get to in a minute. But that was a big-time win for the Knicks coming back in that fourth quarter to basically just slam the door shut on the Clippers. Their defense has been excellent this season. They're second in defensive rating, ninth in half-court defense, according to Cleaning the Glass. Second best team in the league right now in defending the paint. They're allowing the second fewest points in the paint per 100 possessions, and they are first in rebounding. Make no mistake, this team is a royal pain in the ass to deal with in the physicality areas of the game. It's their best trait, but they're 3-4 right now on the year in the standings, in large part because of their issues on offense. They're 28th in offensive rating, and it's all about shot creation. They're actually shooting the ball better, at least from the standpoint of attacking closeouts in off-ball situations, than they did last year by a lot. They're 10th in spot-up efficiency so far. It's not a question about finishing plays. It's a question about getting the defense into rotation and that initial bit of shot making. And both Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson came into the year just out of rhythm, out of shape, injured. I'm not sure what the deal was, but both of them kind of came in a shell of themselves. Jalen Brunson kind of sort of got it together for a couple games, but then he had a rough night last night. And then Julius Randle has been historically bad to start the year, and then he finally gets it going last night, but it happens to be on the night when Jalen Brunson kind of doesn't have it going. And, RJ Barrett's been good, 22 points per game on 60% true shooting, but almost all of that damage is being done in catch and shoot situations or attacking closeouts. He's 69% in effective field goal percentage on catch and shoot jump shots and is converting spot up possessions at 1.35 points per possession, which is outstanding, but he's not doing much of anything, at least in terms of efficiency on the ball. So at the end of the day, this Knicks team, and this is basically what I've been saying for years now, but you guys remember that was the big thing going into last year's playoff run. I said, as long as Randle and Brunson can play like superstars, they're very, very, very good. And at various points over the last couple years, both of them have done so. Jalen Brunson basically produced like a superstar in the playoffs last year. That's why I had him so high in my player rankings. And Julius Randle, at various points, a lot last year, a lot 3 years ago, not so much the year in between, not so much in the playoffs last year, but Julius Randle has that capability as well and is like a really nice, kind of like counterpunch to what Jalen Brunson provides in terms of his ability to match up attack and get closer to the rim, do work on the offensive glass, etc. So again, I would argue that it's a very, very good foundation this year for the Knicks, an even better foundation than last year. The Dante DiVincenzo pickup has been a home run for their point of attack defense. In general, this team is just so much more physically imposing than they were last year, at least in terms of their production defensively, but they're just not getting enough out of their stars. And that's going to be the thing to keep an eye on over the course of this season. NBA fans, the wait is over. Basketball is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is celebrating with an unbeatable offer. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets for throwing down $5 on the NBA. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. You'll start the season with an instant dub. And with DraftKings parlays, everyone's got a shot at an even bigger basketball win. String together multiple bets from the same game or build your parlay across multiple games for a shot at making your payday even sweeter. Basketball's more fun when you're in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code HOOPS. That's HOOPS. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly for betting just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code HOOPS. The crown is yours.
Don't miss the action this weekend when the NFL heads to Germany for the Frankfurt games. These games will air on the NFL Network I'll be watching and stream on NFL Plus. Again, streaming on NFL Plus. For a limited time, Verizon customers can get Netflix Plus, NFL Plus for just $25 a month with Plus Play. That's $120 in annual savings. Plus Play is a platform where Verizon customers can shop, manage, and save on the subscriptions you already have, like NFL Plus. With NFL Plus Premium, you get access to games on mobile, NFL Red Zone, NFL Network, which means you can catch the Frankfurt games and more. Just go to Verizon.com/thevolume to bundle and save before the game. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Again, that's Verizon.com/thevolume.
For the Clippers, wasn't pretty. I didn't like the offense with James Harden. It was a lot of, I was talking with Sam Vecini from The Athletic about this yesterday. We went for an hour hitting a bunch of stuff. I tweeted that link out, so I highly recommend you guys check that out. Sam's great. He's going to be coming on our show at some point in the next couple weeks too. But we were talking about how James Harden is kind of obsessed with running pick and roll with centers. I think there's a couple of specific reasons why. First of all, he likes working with really good screeners. Second of all, he likes working against drop coverage. And you're more likely to face a drop coverage against a big man than you are against a wing. Why? It's simple personnel and game plan. A lot of times a team will go out on the floor and they'll be like, hey, we're switching 1 through 4. And when they set ball screens with the point guard, we want to hedge and recover so that we don't switch a guard onto a bigger defender, right? But then they'll be like, the big man is going to run a drop with some sort of qualifier in terms of the level of the screen, like how far they're going up into the drop coverage, as far and then the backside help, like how hard they're going to be helping off the weak side. So there's like little details about that, but for the most part, it's going to be a drop coverage with a big, some kind of drop coverage with a big, and it's going to be some sort of like other coverage, a switch or a hedge and recover in some sort of any sort of guard screen or guard wing screen. So that's why Harden always kind of targets big men in his ball screens. And he ran 19 pick and rolls in this game, resulting in 23 points, super productive, 1.21 points per possession. That's what James Harden does. I just would like to eventually see him run some of that stuff, particularly with Kawhi, but also Paul George and Russ as well. Just running more of the guard action, guard wing action, particularly Kawhi. He's so good at that like high post face-up game that like I love the idea of almost using him the way they used Embiid and like setting him up at the foul line. If teams run some sort of hedge and recover or drop, you're going to get wide open pocket passes to Kawhi at the foul line. If they switch it, you're putting a small onto Kawhi Leonard, who's going to eat that person alive at the foul line, right? If you blitz James Harden, you're giving Kawhi Leonard a 4-on-3 on the backside. So like it's just really, really difficult to guard that action. And so I'd like to see them do that. But all of the 19 pick and rolls, there was one PJ Tucker ball screen in there, and then the rest of them were all the centers, Zubac, Plumlee, and Moussa Diabate after Plumlee got hurt. So that was just interesting. But like for the most part, you can imagine if James Harden's going to run a big pick and roll with the center, everyone else is just kind of standing around, right? And you saw that with the starters, and then Ty Lue went out of his way to kind of like make sure that James Harden got a bunch of possessions without any of the stars out there so that he could just kind of play Harden ball, and he definitely had some success there. Harden himself looked great. 5 for 8 on jump shots. I think that's a really good sign that he has his legs underneath him. There were a couple in there too that were like really tough step back jump shots, including a tough step back mid-range jump shot. I think there's 2 mid-range jump shots actually. So like those are all good signs about where he's at in terms of his body. But I would like to see just a little bit more movement with the starters, and then a lot more James Harden initiating in ball screens with the other stars in the ball screen action with him. One thing to keep an eye on, the late game Harden snafus. So there was 2 plays in particular that stood out during the Knicks run when things went bad. It was an 8-point game at one point, and then I mentioned the Dante DiVincenzo offensive rebound out of the left corner that led to the 3 on the right wing. On that play, James Harden just straight up didn't box out. Like he just kind of meandered into the lane and wasn't even paying attention, and Dante DiVincenzo looped around the backside for an offensive rebound. Both Harden and Russ are 2 of the least aware stars in the league from the standpoint of off-ball, tracking shooters, boxing out crashers from the perimeter, things like that. That's a weak point for them. We saw in the Laker-Clipper game the 2 times that Russell Westbrook just got beat backdoor because he just wasn't paying attention by D'Angelo Russell. We saw the missed box out in this particular game. There's another play where like James Harden was guarding RJ Barrett in a ball screen on the left wing, and RJ Barrett's a lefty. I tweeted this link out, so you can find this link on my Twitter feed, but you can see James Harden turn completely sideways, so his body is effectively perpendicular to Barrett, and he's kind of like leaning on the Hartenstein ball screen, and he's got his back turned to RJ Barrett's left hand. Now, I think what Harden's trying to do in this situation is basically get physically in position, basically with his hands on Hartenstein, to quickly do a swim move to duck under the pick so he can meet RJ Barrett on the other side. Chances are they're probably in the scouting report going under against RJ Barrett because he's shooting terribly on pull-up jump shots. I think he's like 3 for 13 on pull-up jump shots this year, right? So like, that's probably what they're going for. But RJ Barrett's also one of the best left-hand drivers in the league, and so he just does a rip through to the left and beats him to the basket, makes a little floater off the glass. And it's like, this is the thing. When you've got Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, it's actually very, very important to have guys that are good with the dirty work. Not that Paul George and Kawhi can't contribute there, but like their top-tier shot creation makes it so that the top-tier shot creation of the other players on the floor is less valuable and role player contributions are more valuable. That was the interesting direction that this went. And it doesn't mean it can't work. It just means, for the same thing with the Suns, with Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, all of these stars have to embrace the dirty work. James Harden and Russell Westbrook are going to have to be better defensive players and better rebounders in general in terms of their off-ball awareness in order for this team to reach its eventual ceiling. But again, first game, sloppy too. NBA teams aren't practicing a lot during the regular season, so not trying to overreact to anything. Lots to be encouraged about, just a lot of stuff that the Clippers are going to have to sharpen up over the course of the season. Big win for the Knicks, though. They're due for they're a couple wins away from getting a deep dive, especially with how good that defense is.